Hi, everybody, and welcome to the latest of our online interviews. I'm really pleased to be joined today by Paige Flockhart, who is currently in her final year at Bournemouth University studying events and leisure marketing. Hi, Paige, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I want to start with just asking you why you chose that particular degree and what your goals were when you started out.
So I chose this particular degree because I've always had an interest in marketing throughout GCSE and through A level. So I knew I wanted to do a degree in marketing. And I kind of was looking around and I came across this course at Bournemouth University, which included events, which I did have an interest in because I've done various work experience in events, and also included the leisure side of events as well, which can include travel. And it just was a very varied course. So I just decided to go with this one.
So, as part of your course, you did a placement year. How important was it to you to do that placement year? And maybe you can just tell us what you did on your placement year.
My placement year at Bournemouth University was compulsory, but I decided to do my placement at Sandals Resorts, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And it started out to be a 6-month placement, which started in July 2019. And it was actually extended by a further 6 months. And I would say the importance of a placement year is that you gain so much experience and so much experience in the real environment that you kind of learn throughout A level, that I've learned throughout my degree. And so it was kind of just interesting to implement it into the real world and see, for example, I've worked with media plans in one of my units at university, and to then see that implemented at Sandals Resorts was really interesting to see it in the real world, I guess. And yeah, I would say the importance of a placement year is that I've gained so many different skills that have definitely helped my final year studies for sure. One of which is my dissertation. I focused my dissertation on my experience from Sandals, which is because I already had an understanding of the audience. It's really helped me with my dissertation idea. And yeah.
That's great because I think what's always interesting around the placement years is I think the skills that you've mentioned when you come out of it. But has it changed your, I guess, your idea of your goals for the future, having done that year at Sandals?
I don't think my career focus has changed in any way. I think it's definitely confirmed my career focus of wanting to work in the marketing sector. Additionally, from my experience at Sandals, it's highlighted that I'd like to work with a range of different media channels. So within my role at Sandals, I was working on both digital and traditional methods, which is something I didn't know that I was going to be interested in, but the traditional methods are very much still important, especially with Sandals Resorts audience. I don't think my goals have changed. I think it's just confirmed that I definitely want to work in the
That's
marketing
great.
sector.
No, that's really good. So, alongside obviously the opportunity to use all these different channels, and with obviously marketing within the marketing team, what other things were kind of standout moments for you in your placement? The key things that you'll take away, things that you did, and things that you learnt.
So I kind of learnt the importance of communication skills within the real world. I keep referring to the real world just so it's easier. Um, so the communication skills. So obviously it was professionally, so I had to communicate with internal team members professionally, and also externally. So one of the agencies that Sandals Resorts worked for is based in the US. So obviously I had to work on my communication with them, and obviously there's a huge time difference. So that was kind of like a key element that I had to consider. Obviously then just working. This was my first job in an office environment, so it was kind of the importance of getting that balance between professional and kind of a friendly relationship. I also felt that the another key point was actually speaking at the WTM event. That was a massive highlight for me, because that I've never done something like that before. So
The
that was a
ITT
massive
Future
highlight
U
for me.
event. Yeah, you were there. It was great. You were great at that. We thoroughly enjoyed having you on stage, and it was a really good interview.
Yeah, that was a great event. I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was a bit nerve-wracking, but yeah, having the spotlight on me, I was like, ah, but yeah,
Yeah, and you had
it was a
like,
great experience.
400 plus students in the audience listening to you as well. So that's always a bit of a challenge, but a great, as you say, a great learning experience and development opportunity for you.
Yeah, it was really great.
That's fab. So thinking about, you had mentioned a lot of really critical skills there that you learned. Have do you think, I mean, obviously they will help you as you go into the world of work, but are they helping you in your final year of studies as you focus on your dissertation?
Yeah, I think so. So one of another key skill that I kind of notice is that is kind of time management in the workplace, and it's kind of managing and prioritizing different tasks, which is very evident in my final year. Because there are obviously I've got my big project going, which is my dissertation, but then obviously different assignments for different units. Um, so, and obviously being in sandals, I kind of became to use the idea of to-do lists. Never really knew the importance of a to-do list, but now that is very much evident in my everyday life. And also from working the structured hours every day, like working 9 till 5, I try every week, um, well, during the weekdays, to try and keep that structure, so that it keeps me focused with my uni work.
Yeah, that and those, all of those, again, really great skills that you'll take with you, and I know you will use. I certainly am a big fan of to-do lists. I can get through my day without them. I think, sort of swinging slightly to sort of look at current times, and one of the interesting things about your placement, of course, is you extended for 6 months, and then suddenly the pandemic hit. So
Yeah.
you had the last few months at the resort, at Sandals,
Mm.
coping with that pandemic. So what was that like? I mean, tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so from obviously the pandemic hit, I think maybe it was in March that everyone was kind of told to go into lockdown. So from March, it was all preparing, because everybody, it was new for sound was for everybody to be working from home. So I was very much involved in that process of getting everyone remotely, people who don't have laptops at home. Like, it was kind of interesting to be in the process of that and kind of see what goes into. It was unexpected times for everybody, so it was kind of interesting to see that. Yeah, so then I was just working from home from March. So yeah, definitely the last 7 months or so of my placement definitely were not what I expected, but I still thoroughly enjoyed it, because obviously my managers still, we had weekly Zoom meetings. It was just so interesting to be a part of it, because obviously it was a new experience for everybody. Yeah, it was just really interesting.
You're all learning together.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, still, I think they're still learning now.
Well, we know that your work placement was really successful because actually, am I right in thinking you got the Placement Student of the Year award for the university this year?
Yeah, it's an employability awards that we have that are hosted at our university, and yeah, I was awarded with the outstanding contribution award for my placement, which is an amazing achievement.
That's fantastic. Congratulations, and a great addition to your CV, which is already looking good as you start out. So, just as we sort of wrap up, Paige, there are going to be a number of students looking at this who maybe aren't able to take a placement year because of the current situation. So, what advice would you give them in terms of how they might, I guess, adapt and learn some skills if they're not able to get the sort of work placement that you had, and any other tips and advice that you want to give our audience?
So tips for students who aren't able to get a placement. I've actually been trying to look for some volunteering opportunities. There's a lot of volunteering opportunities out there. For example, there's loads of charities that are looking for, well, within the field that I would like to work in marketing, a lot of them are looking for students, because people are at home, they have free time, and it's all done remotely. But I would definitely say to keep a lookout for volunteering opportunities, because that is just, not only are you gaining experience, but it's also a way of building up your CV, which is really important for employers to see that you're kind of using the time wisely, that you are reaching out to do volunteering opportunities that you might not have, and companies are aware that you don't have the opportunities to do a placement, but to show that you've gone the extra mile, and reached out to other opportunities. Yeah.
That's great. And any other key skills you think that employers will be looking for in sort of in our post-pandemic world, whenever we get there?
Um, I would say problem solving is quite a big one, which I felt like was evident in my role. So kind of working at Sandals, it pushed me to take a logical approach to solving problems and resolving issues. And I was put on the spot with a lot of different problems that I needed to deal with at Sandals, which kind of tested my ability to kind of implement these in the real world. So I'd say, yeah, problem solving, but that's kind of something that can come with experience in different roles and through experience and volunteering.
Yeah.
Also, another tip I would say as well is to, which I'm sure my manager may not agree with 24/7, but is to be inquisitive and to ask questions. Don't be afraid to speak up and ask questions, because you'll that's the only way you're going to learn, really, is to ask lots of questions.
I completely agree with all of that. And I think, critical thinking is part of that problem solving. You're right, it does come with experience, but, we've all had to work our way through the last few months and gain experience of that. So there's always going to be takeaways from everything that life throws at you. So Paige, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I wish you the best of luck with your dissertation and your final marks. I'm sure you'll do fantastically. Please do stay in touch with ITT Future You, because we look forward to watching your career, which I have no doubt will be hugely successful. So all the very best, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Claire.